Welcome to yet another episode of Wake Up at 724, where today we will debate and argue what a NBA 2020 mock playoff bracket would look like, what would be involved, and who would come out in a totally fictitious fantasy world where if the NBA playoffs still happened. Sadly, we are right now in a time where if things were normal, the NBA playoffs would already have started. And we would be watching greatness on the court, but we can't. Thank you, COVID. So, fellas, before we jump into the bracket, let's establish some if the season could have still happened the way it did. Just so you know, at home, feel free to follow along with us. We got our bracket from ESPN. If you were to Google NBA 2020 playoff bracket, ESPN popped up. So they kind of gave us the bracket based on the standings when the season stopped. So leading up to March 12th of 2020, 1 through 8 seed, just place them in, and that's where we got it from. So feel free to make up your own and follow along with us. You'll have some time to do that while we discuss some other stuff and then see how you fare up with and match up with our results. So, fellas, obviously the NBA season ended early. It ended about 20 games early. So looking at the bracket that we just filled out, do you agree with it? Do you disagree with it? So just to give you guys a picture, in the East, there was only 3 teams that had clinched out of the 8. In the West, only the Lakers had clinched. Everything else was still up for grabs. In the West, seeds 2 through 7, all of those teams were separated by 4 games or less. And then the sad part is in the East, the bottom 3 teams all had losing records coming into the playoffs, but no one in the West that was currently in had a losing record, but the next 5 all were losing record teams.
I think the Pelicans would have snuck in the playoffs, and they're 4 games behind the Grizzlies, but we had just been started seeing what Zion Williamson, Lonzo, the entire squad could do, and then pretty much the season got halted. So I think the Pelicans would have snuck in for the 8th spot in the West. But other than that, I think the bracket's probably correct.
Let's talk about something that's been a huge debate, more probably in the East in recent years, but still you're starting to see it at least if any one of those outside looking in teams in the West got in. What's your thoughts on losing teams with losing records making the playoffs? Is it fair? Is it annoying? Is it something that you get excited about because it kind of creates that maybe a Cinderella story like we experience in March Madness? What's your thoughts on it? Specifically, NBA, don't look at other sports. Like this happens rarely in the NFL, hardly ever. You've got teams in the NFL that have 10-win, 11-win seasons and don't even make the playoffs. Where is your stance on that with the NBA? Is it fair, annoying, exciting? Should they just not be allowed in and it's only 6 teams? What's your thoughts?
I think because of like the era that we're in, and there's a lot of great teams, that there's going to be teams with lower records near the bottom, the 7-8 seeds. And I think in a 7-game series, the better team's going to win. So I don't think you shouldn't allow them to be in the playoffs.
Me too. I think it'd be dumb if we shorten the postseason, even by like 2 series, 1 on each side.
Oh, so you're proposing the NBA just go to 6 teams versus 8?
No, I think it's dumb if they were to do that.
I think they should put just not get rid of the East and West, have each team play like every team an equal amount of times, and then I would just do a 16-team bracket instead of I'd get rid of the East and West.
But Ben, how do you argue? You say get rid of them, but because then the argument for years has been the West is so much more dominant. I think you're kind of saying that you did say that, but majority of the NBA championships outside of the Warriors recently have come out of the East.
Yeah, I mean, part of that is there's always going to be like a strong team in each conference, and sometimes that strong team will win. But if you go just the strength of each individual team, like right now, the East probably has like the bottom 4 or 5 teams in the NBA, maybe 6. You know what I'm saying? It's like right there. That's not. It's like that's more about the strength of the conference, not necessarily who wins. Like the champion isn't the best way to tell which conference is stronger.
Oh, I agree. The East is totally garbage. Looking at right now, the Brooklyn Nets are the 7th seed. Orlando's the 8th seed. They made the playoffs. The Brooklyn Nets are 8.5 games behind the next seed. Like it's not, but yet in the West you have seeds 2 through 7 4 games separate those teams. The East is total garbage. No one is arguing that. But it would be hard when champions are coming out of the East, it would be hard to say just get rid of it and have one league. Who are the 2 top people contending for MVP of the league, in your opinion? Give us your top 2, and then who deserves it. Luke, we'll start with you.
Giannis is my guy who deserves it. Then,
Maybe
yeah,
Doncic.
LeBron's my runner-up.
Yeah, Doncic was having quite an NBA season. Jake, what about you? Who's your winner and who is close second? Or was it not even close?
Not close for me. Giannis is the winner.
For me, yeah, I'd probably say realistically, Giannis is the winner. LeBron's the runner-up. I would have liked to see LeBron win it, though.
For me, I have LeBron winning MVP this year, and then Giannis being the runner-up.
I kind of agree with Ben, especially I would say 20 games early, give it to Giannis. But if we were able to see those last 20 as hot as the Lakers were, if the Lakers come out close to 70, close to 50, 60 wins, whatever they were going to be at, and to see how quickly that organization got turned around, although AD deserves some credit there, I think you just can't ignore LeBron. Plus, he's on the LA platform now. So maybe a more fun debate, because at least one of his names has been dropped already. Who deserves Rookie of the Year if the season ended where it did versus finishing? 20 games left. It's over. Who gets it? J.A. or Zion?
I got Ja.
Ja.
Yeah, Ja was mean. The Grizzlies are literally in the playoffs right now in the West too.
Yeah,
So
I think that if Zion plays the whole season, he gets it. But as of what happened, I think Ja gets it.
Does that
agree.
In your opinion, Ben, if Zion were to play? Because you said earlier your team that sneaks in are the Pelicans because of the way Zion had started to play.
Yeah, I don't know. You really need a bigger sample size of Zion. We only really saw him for 10 games, 8 games. You need a bigger sample size before you say he's definitely the Rookie of the Year. But obviously he looked incredible in the games he played.
Luke?
Yeah, I agree with both of them.
Yeah. My heart wants to say Zion, and the sad thing is I don't even when Zion was actually able to start playing, he was on every other night, NBA covered. I don't ever remember even watching a Grizzlies game on national television or getting a chance to watch, Ja. But as soon as Zion came back, it was like the hype was all there. You almost got to see you saw more of Zion in 10 games than you did of Ja all season. So I think that's not fair, but just being a Duke fan, I still got to give it to what we did see. And if you multiplied that with Zion, but I'm biased. All right. So fellas, if you haven't had a chance to get the bracket filled out, hurry up because we're jumping in. You can catch up. We'll start in the East because I think the East is a little bit easier. So fellas, get your paper out wherever your bracket is, and let's jump right in, shall we? Looking at the East, the 1-8 matchup is Milwaukee-Orlando. Luke, who did you have winning that series? How many games did it take? Any huge things there?
Milwaukee in 4.
All right, Milwaukee in a sweep. Jake?
I'd take Milwaukee in 5.
Milwaukee in 5. Okay, Ben?
Okay, I have Milwaukee in 6.
But none of us disagree. Milwaukee. I've got Milwaukee in 4. I think it's one of the many sweeps that we will see in this playoff series and in this bracket. Let's jump down to Toronto and Brooklyn, the 2 versus 7. Let's go backwards. Ben, where are you at with that?
So we're saying obviously no KD, right?
Yeah, no KD.
What about Kyrie?
Well, he was playing when it stopped, right?
I think so.
I don't think he was. I think he was out, right?
I think he had just come back. I thought he just come back.
It didn't matter for me, but sure, Kyrie's playing.
Yeah, well, I'm going to take Toronto because this is one of the best teams. Literally, Kawhi is the most overrated player this league has seen in a long time. Everybody acts like he's like a top 5 NBA player. I have a tough time putting Kawhi in my top 10. This Toronto team is literally really good without Kawhi.
Okay, so I'm going to take Toronto, and I'm going to have them sweep. I think either one, Kyrie's going to get hurt before the series even starts, or he's going to get hurt during it. and then it's just going to be over for the Nets?
I think Raptors in 5. I think Karis LeVert carries the Nets to at least one win.
LeVert, Dinwiddie.
I've got back-to-back sweeps, Toronto in 4. It's not even close. And we'll see if KD even ends up ever playing for the Nets. Let's jump into the Miami 4-5, Miami, Indiana. Where do you guys see this series?
I think I'm still probably going to take Miami in 7.
All right. Ben?
I got Miami in 6.
Luke?
Yeah, I have Miami in 6.
I have Miami in 7. This is one of those Game 7 games. What would be the deciding factor for you, Luke or Ben, in this series?
Tyler
think
Hero and Duncan Robinson.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, Tyler Hero.
Miami overall is just like a well-built team right now, and I think Spoelstra's a really good coach.
And I still don't think you sleep on an angry Butler. All right, let's jump into Boston. We got Ben's favorite team, Philly, versus Luke's favorite team, Boston. We'll see if they can listen to their hearts or their minds in this scenario. Jake, you're not biased here. Give us your pick before we go to the two fans.
Well, my problem is just the fact that I hate Boston so much. So I'm not necessarily unbiased in the situation. I mean, realistically, I'd take Boston in 6, I'd say.
Yeah. I'll answer before the two fans go. I kind of hate both of these teams, but I would say Boston in 6 as well, just because you look at the veteran experience on that team. I think Tatum is on the verge of becoming an MVP. Plus, what he flashed in the playoffs last year, Boston in 6. Ben, you have a question?
Yeah, what veteran experience are you talking about?
Are you kidding?
Yeah, Kemba's incredible playoff runs.
Kemba Walker's incredible.
I'm talking
Yeah.
Veteran playoff experience.
Who? What players?
No, they
Jason
do.
Tatum, Jaylen Brown?
Tatum, Brown, Marcus Smart, all those guys. I mean, most of the core of the Celtics. Yeah.
They had one playoff run like last year.
Did you just say Al Horford, who now is playing for
I said Howard.
Oh, I thought you said Al Horford. I was like, Russ,
bro. That argument ain't it, bro. Boston does not have veteran playoff experience. That's
they do. I wouldn't say it's necessarily veteran playoff experience, but they definitely have way more experience than the Sixers.
And the Sixers
they don't.
The Sixers can't even add 2 + 2 together right now. They're so dysfunctional.
Bro, Sixers.
Okay, I'm not gonna argue that.
Seen like 3 playoff games ever.
Right.
In the last
look at the last couple years. Literally, the Celtics have been losing in the playoffs. Early, they went one year. They went past the Sixers.
Have an NBA Finals championship.
What?
What do you want to go back? How many years?
I'm talking like the last 4 years.
Okay, the core of the Celtics
because
were still together the last 4 years.
That's whenever they got Jaylen Brown. That's whenever they got Tatum. So like that's you're talking about veteran playoff experience from those guys who were like, mind you, 22, 23.
Still
and if we look at,
I wouldn't say it's
playoff
veteran.
teams
I'd just say
before
it's
that.
experience.
Wait, what?
They were playing on playoff teams before they came to the Celtics.
Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum were drafted as rookies.
No. I'm talking about Kemba and I'm talking about Howard.
Kemba was never on a playoff team. He's been on the Hornets his entire life.
He's made the playoffs before that.
They played.
Yeah, as like an 8 seed, and he lost. He doesn't have a playoff experience. Yes, it does. Wait, who's the other guy you mentioned?
Howard.
Or
Hayward. Gordon Hayward.
Hayward.
I was like, what?
I was like,
anyways, give us
Hayward like was literally the 6th man. I mean, so I guess he has some playoff experience on the Jazz, but even then, once again, first round exits. They don't have veteran playoff experience. That's just false.
76ers have no playoff experience. They're garbage.
They literally have as much playoff experience as the Celtics. I'll pull up past NBA seasons right now.
Give us your pick.
I have Celtics in 6.
After
all that, it makes no sense. Luke.
No, it does make sense because your argument was just off and it didn't make sense. But that being said, the Sixers aren't going to win because.
So then, what's your reason that the Celtics win this series?
What?
What's your reason that you picked the Celtics then?
Veteran because Tatum and Brown are just literally better than probably any player on the Sixers. That being said, they don't have veteran playoff experience. That was just a hot take.
Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum are better than any player on the Sixers.
Yeah, I mean, Embiid just he doesn't fit in the current meta of the NBA. And Simmons, I mean, if you can't shoot, it's like the Sixers team just doesn't make sense right now.
Agreed. Luke, anything to argue? Or are you with us?
I might have the Celtics in 5.
We'll take it.
That's
All right,
bold,
hey
but
Russ. Last year, both the Sixers and Celtics lost in the conference semifinals.
Okay.
2 years ago, the Celtics went one round farther.
Okay, I win.
3 years ago,
Go ahead. Give us the answer.
the Celtics went one round farther.
Okay, so far I still win.
But even that 2017, Tatum wasn't even on the team. 2016, 2017 season, Tatum wasn't even on the team yet. That was Brown's first year. That was the Isaiah Thomas year, wasn't it?
Yeah, but we still just crushed your 4-year window experience. They're more veteran.
No, you didn't.
Can we
Because
please move on
you know
to
what?
this?
Being a first round exit, Russ, is not veteran playoff experience. Doing that twice is not veteran playoff experience.
Sorry, it is, especially when their first round exits are
It's
coming
not.
against
It's
the
not.
teams that they're playing. Let's
It's
jump
not.
over to the West. We've gone into the second round. No one's arguing anything there. I think we all had the same teams, which sounds about right. Is anyone picking the Grizzlies against the Lakers, or can we move on? Is it a sweep?
Yeah.
yeah.
Might be 5 games.
I'm saying sweep there. Possible. Dallas was the number 1 offensive team in the NBA, going against the Clippers, who, you know, you've got quote unquote the most overrated player in the NBA on that team. Is the 2 versus 7 Clippers versus Dallas a series or not?
Yes, I got
I think it
Dallas
can be.
over LA.
I'd take LA in 6.
Same.
Guys,
Because
it's
the
a 2
Mavericks are a
versus
good team.
7
They went
seed.
40 and 27.
Yeah, they're literally 4
yeah.
games apart. They're 4
Right.
games apart.
They could be a 2 seed if we played one more game. You know.
Yeah, I got Dallas winning the series. Something about the Clippers, it just they have not. It just don't click the same way. And the Mavs were hot. Doncic's a beast.
I just don't see how you can talk smack all you want about Kawhi, but his defense is legit. Paul George's defense is legit, and neither of those guys are guarding Donka. Patrick Beverly could, and those other 2 help out. I just don't see how.
Doncic is like 6'7". Pat Bev is not D'ing up Doncic. Doncic was
Yeah,
bullying Beverly.
you put Kawhi on Doncic.
Well, yeah, I agree, but I'm saying even if they switched it up, I just don't see how that defensive trio doesn't find a way to shut down Donka. Just like if you've been watching the Bulls documentary, the Pistons figured out how to shut down Jordan when he was young. I just don't see it. I've got the Clippers.
Well, you're forgetting about the unicorn, though, Russ.
The unicorn doesn't know who he is still.
Who's
trash.
guarding the unicorn? He's not trash.
The unicorn is not trash, but they're still figuring each other out. I got the Clippers in 6. Where are you guys at with Denver and Houston?
Rockets are trash.
No, Rockets are winning that series.
I'm actually going to take the Rockets. I just hate – listen, I don't think he's a bad player. I just hate the hype that Jokic gets all the time.
Even though the Rockets play small ball?
Even though the Rockets play small ball.
There's too much star power between Westbrook and Harden for them not to beat the freaking Nikola Jokic-led Denver team.
I agree. So, Luke, you had Denver. The rest of us had Houston. What about the 4-5 Utah OKC?
I take OKC, believe it or not.
Same. Utah's never going to be the same.
Yeah, after the whole Corona thing with Gobert, OKC.
That was literally my only deciding factor. I was like, they don't get along anymore. All right, so let's move into the second round. We'll stay in the West. We've got LA versus OKC. What do you see there?
LA.
Same.
LA.
Is it closer? I have it as a sweep. What do you guys have?
Yeah.
Probably 5 games.
All right.
Take it.
Houston, for most of us, Ben, you've got Houston, Dallas. The rest of us have Houston Clippers. Where do you guys see in that series?
Clippers taking it in 5.
I have Houston beating Dallas.
Luke?
I think Clippers.
All right, I'm with you on the Clippers. So we have an LA showdown in the West to see who goes and fights. Let's jump back over to the East. All of us had the same Final Four. Milwaukee, Miami. What do we have there, Jake?
I
Sweep.
took Milwaukee in 6 games.
Luke?
Sweep.
Sweep. Milwaukee?
Indeed.
Just making sure. Ben?
Did you just say Milwaukee sweeps Miami?
I did. Yeah.
That's a hot take, bro. Miami is a tough team this year. And I think Butler, you put Butler on Giannis, obviously nobody can shut down Giannis, but that's probably as good of a matchup as you're going to get.
I don't know.
Are you gonna tell me that 6'6" Butler is about to D up?
Yeah, you know what? That is
Bro.
what I'm going to say.
I agree. I have Milwaukee beat Miami 4-1. It's not even a series.
Yeah.
All right, Boston. Toronto.
Y'all have a semi for Milwaukee right now for no good reason.
Other than reigning potential MVP. Boston, Toronto. This one's hard. This one was hard for me. Where are you guys at?
I take Toronto in 5.
I want to say Boston, but I don't know if that'd be the best thing.
I put Boston just because they have wins.
Because of their veteran playoff experience.
Funny, Ben.
It's not playoff experience.
Thank you, Jake. Thank you, Jake.
It's literally just better players. There's a difference between better players
Who have made
and veteran. Hey, Dave.
No, don't bring people into this.
Hey, Dave. That Boston has veteran playoff.
I wanted Dave on the show. I would have asked Dave on the show.
That's what I said. Sure. Marcus Smart's the only player. But then he said Kemba Walker. I said, yeah, him in his first round.
This
twice.
man is arguing
bro,
with me when he pulled up his laptop and proved me right. Am I wrong, Jake and Luke?
I didn't prove you right, Jake or Russ. The argument wasn't who had more.
Guys, we have like 4 minutes left on this call, and we're still talking about this junk.
No, we are not. Ben is. All right, let's jump into the. Let's jump into the Final Four here. We've got an LA showdown in the West and a debatable, not a debatable Milwaukee, but a debatable Boston-Toronto showdown.
Boston.
We're
saying Boston.
Does it matter who it is? Does Milwaukee go to the finals, or does Boston or Toronto take them out?
I think it's going to be a 7-game series, but I think that Milwaukee's going to beat Toronto by like a very small margin.
All right. Luke, you made a very quick and easy answer. Milwaukee. How many games?
I think the Bucks will beat the Celtics in 6 or 7 games.
Ben?
I have Bucks over Boston in 6 games.
What's the deciding factor for you guys there?
Giannis.
Actually, Brook Lopez.
He can hit the
He's
three.
a beast.
He can hit the 3. All right, who wins in the LA showdown?
Mine's actually LA Houston, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I take Lakers in 7 games. I'm gonna go 7 games Lakers.
All right, Ben, who wins, LA or Houston?
Lakers beat Houston in 5.
In 5. Okay, nice.
I think the Clippers will beat the Lakers in 7.
Wow. I have it going 7 as well. I have just the combination of LeBron and AD with Danny Green doing what he does in the playoffs, hitting big shots in the corner, but what I'm nervous about is with that series going 7, and I think how much of a beating LeBron takes, I can't decide how LA in the finals against Milwaukee for me, how that plays out. Because now after LeBron survives, the beatdown of Kawhi, Beverly.
Brother Beef.
Where are you guys at with your finals championship?
I think, and this is my personal opinion, I don't think you can factor that in when it comes to LeBron. I think that AD and all the rest of the Lakers, I think you can factor in the fatigue and beatdown. I don't think you can for LeBron.
Well, he can't beat them 1-on-5.
That's a pretty bad argument, Jake. Because if you think about him like getting cramps the one year in the playoffs,
that's one
I agree.
season.
I'm with Ben on that.
It's
I
like
think
he
it
gets
will matter.
fatigued. Although he doesn't look like a human whenever he plays, he is still human and he still suffers from fatigue like every other person.
Me and Ben finally agree on something, fellas. We're running out of time. Who's your finals champ?
Bucks.
Jake,
Lakers.
Ben.
Lakers.
All right.
Lakers.
I'm picking the Lakers over the Bucks. Fellas, this has been fun. We are out of time. This has been another episode of Wake Up at 724, where we debate a fake NBA mock playoff. Thanks for joining me, fellas. You've heard it here first. We'd love to see how your brackets compare. Until next time, see you later.